Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles. That's right, it's one of your superpower cards. This is a mutable earth energy. This is a Virgo energy. It's the Queen of Pentacles, okay? Represents the Virgo energy in action. It's the ability to, really in this case, it's the ability to learn from the past. Like you understand, like you've learned things in your life. Not just book learning, not just like picking up things here and there, but I feel that you have this kind of experiential wisdom for life, you know? And I feel like you do have a practical wisdom and knowledge about things, like you know how to do things. I feel like people are always asking you for answers. People are always asking you questions, you know? Looking for, how do I do this? How do I do that? What does this mean? What should I do here? Like, I feel like you're the source of wisdom and knowledge for a lot of people in your life. Maybe friends, family, maybe on the internet, who knows? I feel like you know a lot about a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I feel like you're always being approached, like you feel like somebody who everybody can go to for advice. You feel like somebody who is easy to talk to, somebody who other people feel comfortable kind of calling you up or sending you the message and saying, hey, I got this problem. What do you think about it? You know, like they trust you with that kind of personal information. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just your vibe, if it's your energy, if it's just your face or your demeanor, but people feel like they can share intimate details of their life with you and that you'll give them some wisdom, you know, and maybe you're kind of like, that's enough already, you know. But I think this is a very good quality to have, yeah? Let's see what's going on in your life right now, okay? We're going to use the Dove and Serpent spread. All right, you got, oh my gosh. That's the Hermit. You've got your second superpower card. The Hermit is the card that is associated with the sign of Virgo. It represents the archetypal Virgo energy. And maybe this is literally saying, like, you kind of had enough already, and you kind of want to just do your thing, put your head down and focus on what you want to do. Maybe you need some of that wisdom for yourself, you know, figure out your path and go your own way. So I feel like there's a little bit of a retirement happening, kind of a magical retirement, or just kind of like, I'm not going to check my messages all the time now. I'm not going to open every text message as soon as I get it, because I know someone kind of asking me for some, but then again, you don't want to abandon people either, you know. So we're kind of in this tight spot, I guess. Here's the Hanged Man. Yeah, makes sense. Three of Wands, sure. Six of Wands, yeah. But balance, the Libra energy, the adjustment card. Okay, got to be a little more discerning. Maybe we need to schedule office hours, you know, for our friends and family sometimes. Here's the 10 of Swords. There's a Queen of Wands, an Ace of Pentacles, and love. I think you're spending more time with yourself. You're spending a little bit more time on your own problems in a way that feels balanced, it feels right for you. You know, I feel like this is going to be a really, really good time in your life. I don't know, I kind of feel like this is kind of a prospect for the rest of the year, you know. And I feel that things, by maintaining this balance, by being discerning, by learning to say no, by focusing on some of your needs, but also on the needs of others, you know, I think that you're going to experience it feels like an alignment, feels like a harmony, feels like it feels like we're keeping the sacred fire burning in the right intensity. It's not burning too bright. It's not getting too low on the wick either, where it's kind of going to flicker and get blown out. We're keeping that flame balanced and just right. Yeah. Let's select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to put it right here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob, happy little card. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading, okay? If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments, okay? Let's use our superpowers. Anyway, as we look around the room, we see some majors, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 major arcana energies. The Hermit is kind of doing that introspection, the circumspection. We're looking at everything, trying to see what our true inner light, our own lamp, how's our lamp feeling right now? Because too much sacrifice and suffering is not going to be good. We need balance. We need a balance between giving yourself to others and sort of, the fire dancer kind of, taking our time for ourselves, being a little selfish and focusing on the self-care. So we need to balance. There's a lot of you giving, yielding, acquiescing, pleasing others, serving others. And there's a need to take some of that back in a way that is healthy and balanced, not in an extreme way, So we've got the three major arcana tell a story. They sure do. Right? The Hermit is kind of looking at the hangman and thinking, how much of this do I really need to be all the time, And so we're balanced, we're readjusting, we're finding balance. We have fire, fire, fire. A little bit of water, a little bit of air, and we've got our earth cards. Okay. The Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles here. I think that we're realizing that we got ourselves into a bit of a habit with other people, where they kind of, I don't know, like I feel like someone's calling you up at like 8 o'clock at night and say, no, I have a question about work. But it's like, well, we're not at work right now. Yeah, we're friends, but this isn't work. Like it's 8 o'clock at night, And sometimes people feel that they can be that familiar with you. And it's not a bad thing, right? But it's something that we might have to regulate a little bit. Because let's say your coworkers, you're such a resource to your coworkers. They feel like they can call you at 2 o'clock in the morning to say, hey, what time is that meeting tomorrow? It's like, well, I'm trying to sleep, And so I feel like we're shielding ourselves a little bit from that. We're trying to find ways to pull back a little bit. There may be one particular person that we're talking about, and maybe a fire sign person. They may be an older female energy. Okay, maybe a fire sign. And they may just be too aggressive. They may just be too familiar. They may be to the point where they're expecting it from you. Almost demanding, like they keep to 2 o'clock in the morning. They have a rather simple question, let's say, but they keep calling you. Or they send you text after text after text, like, why aren't you answering? It's like, because I'm not obligated to stop what I'm doing and answer the phone every time you call me. Especially if it's 2 in the morning. It's like, get the hint. If I didn't answer, like, where's the boundary? So I feel like there might be one person that is acting that way. They may not be a fire sign person, but they feel kind of fiery, right? They feel kind of fiery over here. This is that relationship that we're talking about, okay? So the Hermit, I think, is kind of trying to maybe distance themselves from that person a little bit, or trying to sort of ease out of that role of being the resource for everyone, or at least setting some boundaries. Because the Hermit is kind of like, I need a break. I need a break of being everything to everyone at all times, right? You're probably the one that takes care of everything. You plan everything. You keep the calendar, You do all the shopping. You do all the purchasing at work. You organize all the meetings. And then people think that they can still call you at 2 in the morning and say, hey, what time was that meeting again? It's like, well, check your email, So I feel like we're readjusting our life a little bit this year. The rest of the year, I think we're kind of setting some rules, we're setting some boundaries, because the outcome here, the year that we're trying to create, the rest of the year, we're trying to say, hey, this is going to be a year of like harmony and love and mutual love and affection, mutual respect, reciprocating energy. Like, I want to vibe with people, and maybe I can't be everything to everyone. Maybe I can be everything to just a few people. Maybe there are a couple of people that can call you at 2 a.m. to ask you, like, what that song was that you heard on the radio when you were 12 years old or something, right? But very few. I feel like it's a short list of people that can be that familiar with you. Yeah, that really know you, that really you feel like doesn't matter what happens, you're going to be there. Doesn't matter what time they call, you're going to answer. Okay, it's a very, very short list of people that you'll be that way for. Because this card, the Two of Cups, is a love. It's the super glue that holds everything together. And sometimes the self-love isn't always there strong enough, and if it's a weak link in the chain, right? This card is about self-love, but also divine love, platonic love, and also romantic love. It's the entire, the entire cross of the of love, yeah, and in all its forms. So it's not just one thing. I feel like we need that balance. And again, this is the Libra energy. It's right in the center of the tarot table today. This is the whole thing. Okay, so this love is telling us that we need to make sure that we have that balance of self-love, right, and divine love, to kind of to balance out the platonic and romantic love too. Right? Coworkers, friends, family, all this kind of thing. Our relationship with ourself, our relationship with the universe and deity, and our own practices, and our guardian angel, and our spirit guides, and things like this. And I think that if any one of those areas is taxing us too much or pulling too much from us, it's taking energy away from the other forms of love. Okay? It could be, it's kind of the age-old problem where somebody gets into a romantic relationship, they're giving all their attention to their new lover, and they ignore their friends, right? Or they're so involved with their friends that they're not really paying much attention to what their needs are because they're serving the needs of others, right? I think that's more of what's going on here, is that you are in need of some time for yourself to focus on the self-love, divine love, the vertical sort of axis, right? The vertical axis here. Because maybe we've been sacrificing too many things in our life now that we don't want to sacrifice anymore. Okay, so we're looking for that balance. We're looking to restore the balance, and sometimes this has to be the way forward. The Libra energy, this is the card of discernment, the card of saying no in a black and white way. It's kind of like no. If your name isn't on the short list there, then it's no, absolutely no. And there's no like, okay, just this one time. It's, it's boundaries and sticking to those boundaries, making those rules for ourselves. That says, they call after 5 p.m., I'm just not going to answer the phone unless it's that short list of people or unless it's literally an emergency. Right. But this is also the card of, seeing the consequences of our actions and being able to being able to value things in the right way. It's proportions, How much weight am I giving to the needs of others versus how much weight am I giving to myself, right? But this is also a professional kind of card. It's kind of like saying we sometimes need to keep our relationships in their lane. These are work people. They are kind of on the work friend list. These are my personal friends. These are on the personal friend list. This is my spiritual path. This is my self-love. Like everything kind of has little borders around them in a way. It's almost like saying, keep your work life, keep your home life, and never the twain shall meet, because there sometimes is that overlap. And then there is that familiarity where your coworker thinks they can just show up at your door and say, hey, what are you having for dinner? And we can develop friendships in those kinds of places, of course. And then they become on the Two of Cups shortlist, right? But otherwise, I think we're sort of putting up more professional boundaries. And one way to combat this particular person, if this is one particular person, is to kind of be firm in setting that boundary. When it's your lunch break and they're trying to ask you to read a report or write something or make a phone call, you can say in no uncertain terms, I'm sorry, no, I'm on my lunch break, I'll do it later, thank you. Or whatever words you choose to use. But to not let people infringe upon your time or yourself or your energy or these kinds of relationships that you have. Okay? Because I feel like it's an imposition. And I feel like it needs some boundaries. It needs some rules, basically, right? And I feel like it's gonna cause a lot of good things in this year for you. Okay, and I don't know if this is all about the career or a job, or if it is friends, family, and the coworkers too, right? It's everybody. We don't need to avoid conflict. We don't need to ignore our own needs either. Okay? So I feel that the Hanged Man down here is kind of like the feeling we have inside where it's just like, I know that I'm kind of being taken advantage of sometimes. I know that I'm sometimes being used. And I know that I'm kind of like just a resource that people feel that they can draw upon anytime they want. It's like you're a water cooler, one of those 5-gallon jugs of water, and people just come up and they can take the water when they want, and you're just kind of stuck there. You don't have any say in the matter. But that's not the case, right? You have an ability to set those boundaries and rules and kind of, reclaim your sovereignty a little bit. This is a card of suffering and sacrifice. I think you're someone who is very willing to give the shirt off your back for other people. In fact, you probably do. You probably have, gone without something so that other people can have it. Other people need it. Well, they need it more, right? Sometimes you need it more. And sometimes it's okay to say, no, I can't give that to you. I need it. Even though you're probably shivering at the thought of that because it feels selfish. It feels like, well, if somebody asks me for something, well, of course I'm going to give it to them. I think this is a fantastic quality, but not when it becomes too much. And I think the Hanged Man here is kind of was a little too much, maybe. Yeah. The 3 of Wands in the background position, the recent past, is the virtue, doing the right thing even when it's difficult. But I wonder if this sort of set a precedent. If this is when we started saying yes to somebody, and now they're kind of expecting it all the time, right? And now it's like they're just coming in. Somebody asked us if they can eat some of our food out of the refrigerator at work, and we say, oh yeah, sure, that's okay. And then they may ask us again a week later, oh yeah, it's okay, go ahead and have some. Then eventually they just start taking it without asking, right? Because now they just feel like they've established a pattern, a precedence, and it's okay now. Now they feel like they've been given carte blanche, right, to do it. And it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, we got to roll this back a little bit to where you've got to ask me if it's okay. Not just expect it, okay? Or at the very least, perhaps some appreciation, perhaps some kind of, I don't know, like a gift even, some way to say thank you. And it's not that we're expecting the thank you. Okay, the Hanged Man is willing to suffer and sacrifice and gets no thank you, gets no appreciation, no rewards, no pleasure, no pat on the back at the end of the day. Okay, so it's not what you expect. It's not what you want. You're not saying, I'll let you have some of my food, but you got to bring me, a donut tomorrow. Okay, I mean, it's not transactional. But it would be nice if you were recognized and appreciated and noticed for what you've been doing. So I feel as if we're kind of rolling things back to where we say, you know what, the Hermit is setting some boundaries, setting some rules. Got to focus on my stuff right now. Got to focus on me and what I need. So you got to ask me if you want to take the food. You got to ask me. Maybe you're focused on your health and your well-being, and you have a certain portion. Maybe you're like meal planning. I don't know. So I am feeling that there is like a new health routine going. Like you started a new workout kind of regimen or some kind of a dietary thing that you're focused on. I don't know if you're trying to limit carbs or sugar or something like this. Well, it's the same thing kind of. But there's something new going on anyway. Because I feel like you're trying to put more attention on yourself. The hermit is trying to find that light within and trying to understand, well, what do I need to do to keep my flame burning bright, that inner flame of the temple, right? How do we keep it lit? How do we keep it glowing and radiant? Well, we need to focus on where our energy is going, where our health is being siphoned away by things sometimes, okay? So I feel that there is this higher discernment coming in your life that's going to really improve not only your relationships, but improve your health, improve your productivity, improve how you sleep at night even, you know. Up top, we have that Six of Wands, which is, to me, that inner temple flame burning bright and robust. Not too little, not too small on the wick where it's going to flicker out, and not raging so much that it's burning the temple down, you know. That is just the right kind of balance and harmony in our vital energy. And we get this through, the four forms of love that we talked about, right? Having that kind of balance. But in terms of the self-love, I think this is implying kind of the six pillars of our vitality, right? Intentional eating, intentional movement, sleep, adequate sleep, stress reduction, substance management, and of course the relationships. And when we can balance all those things out and focus on those things and make progress and have a kind of devotion, love ourselves enough to say, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I take care of my temple. I take care of my spirit, my soul, take care of my heart, my mind, take care of my body, and it's going to take care of me, you know. And I think that's kind of this practical wisdom of the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles, kind of knowing, like, we know what to do. It's just a matter of sort of allocating time and space in order to do it. And that is part of our adjustment card. Okay? And this is the way forward for you. The way forward for the rest of the year, I think, is going to be this higher wisdom and discernment. What we have gleaned from our introspection and our circumspection, where we're looking around ourselves, we're looking at the divine love, the self-love, the romantic love, the platonic love. We're looking at all of those things around us, and we're honing in on this flame. We're going to start making different decisions. Okay? We're going to start having more wisdom and discernment about what we say yes and what we say no to. This is also the card, like I said, of portions, right? So I don't know if you're like weighing portions or something like this, but I feel as if this is kind of saying the scales have been out of balance. I need to restore the balance internally and externally in terms of relationships, all relationships. Your relationship with food, your relationship with air, your relationship with your people, your friends, your family, your pets, your plants, and your people. Your relationship with your spiritual practice, your relationship with literally everything, with nature, with your body, with your hair, your fingernails, I don't know. It's everything. And we want to bring everything into balance right now. And I think we're going to experience a kind of robust expansion in our health and well-being across the board, every dimension of life. Okay? So this might be, kind of weighing and assessing where we've been putting our attention. Giving too much attention to the needs of other people tips the scale. I need to bring it back a little bit. I need to give myself a little more attention and focus on what I kind of need to do. Maybe you've been putting in way too many hours at work and you haven't really been taking care of yourself the way you should. Well, I feel like we're trying to readjust that too. Okay. Now, Path of the Serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. That's the only thing I'm going to ask of you. Okay. It really does help out the channel, and we need it right now. Views are tanking, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll be here no matter what. The Ten of Swords is this feeling. It's your general energy. It feels as if the way things are going now, I'm being depleted. This is a desiccated energy. It's not full of the water, right? It's not a Ten of Cups. It's not fully fulfilled and satisfied and sort of overflowing in every place. It's dried up. It's like you have this big fat water balloon and then someone poked a hole in it and all the water is slowly draining out until it's just a dry piece of rubber. It starts to get crusty when you leave it in the sun too long. And that's not what we want. We don't want to, I need to fill myself up now. I need to be nourished. Okay? Because I feel that's what you've been doing, nourishing others, right? Giving of your waters, right? Leaves not enough for you. Yeah. This is a desiccated kind of feeling. Maybe this is literally saying like you need to hydrate, like aggressively hydrate, okay? But it's about balance. Like me, I can't overhydrate. I overhydrate, it's not good for my body. I need right around like maybe 80 ounces, maybe like 2.3 liters of water every day. And that's the sweet spot. Anything more than that, and I'm not in a good place, okay? Anything less than that, and we start to get into this desiccated kind of feeling. So I feel like you're focused on those kinds of balances. Your work-life balance, your internal versus external balance, your internal kind of water balance, your pH balance, I don't know, your balance with friends and family. It really is about making these little adjustments to try to maintain this balance. And I think this year that's the focus for you. And it is going to benefit you tremendously, okay? In the environment, in your relationships, you've got that Queen of Wands there. The Queen of Wands is, again, kind of looking at the past, right? The fire. We're looking at the fire here. I feel like this is the person that has set the precedent and is kind of like saying, well, they said yes 2 or 3 times already, so I probably don't need to ask again. They'd probably get annoyed if I keep asking, right? I'll just go and take it. I'll just go to their cubicle and take their stapler, and they won't mind because they always say yes anyway. Why should I? I'm saving them time by not asking, and that's kind of, these are the kinds of relationships. And I don't think it's just one person necessarily. I think it's a lot of things, a lot of people. But I feel like this is something in your environment that's burning up your waters too quickly. It's something that is like, it's the hole in the water balloon, and it's just slowly draining out. We got to stop. We got to plug those holes. This is something that is slowly diminishing your vitality, something that is slowly like siphoning off I feel like the healing waters inside of us. It's kind of like, I don't know. We don't realize it's like when you're active, right? You're exercising or something, or you're playing outside and you're sweating. And we don't realize that all our water is gone, and we're not really compensating by drinking more water. And we don't know why. Why do I feel like an old, dried out water balloon? Well, because we don't realize how much we're leaking, all that fluid, all that vital fluid of life, the waters of life, right? Because something's burning it away. It's evaporating. So we need to hydrate to compensate for that. Yeah. And so it could be that your relationships right now are very demanding. Maybe your work life, your home life, maybe your pets, your plants, and your people are very demanding, and it's evaporating a lot of your water energy. You keep giving the water. The Hangman's pure water. Giving and giving that water. Well, we've got to find a way to replenish the water so that we can find the harmony and balance in our lives across the board, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in every dimension. Yeah. The energy, the obstacle really is the Ace of Pentacles here. And I think it really is just like doing the thing that we know we need to do. And it's sometimes hard to do that. It's like, yeah, I know I need to eat certain foods. I need to avoid certain foods. Now I had a liver transplant, right? I don't have a gallbladder. I have a very sensitive digestion. I got urinary urinary system kind of issues going on, and I'm working on a whole kind of physical health regimen, right? I'm writing this codex of behaviors and rituals and energetic things, energy work, as well as supplements and exercises and breath work and all these kinds of meditations and things in a whole like treatise, right, that I'm writing. But anyway, the point is, having all of that information is not the same as I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have the glass of water. It's like I know I need to, but do I? Do I drink it? When's the last time I did that? You know, it's kind of like knowing, yes, okay, what you need is, diet and exercise. And okay, I know all that. It's just about doing one thing and implementing it. And maybe it's just kind of making one rule and saying, that's it, like today, what's one thing we can do to try to restore the balance? Well, I can start leaving the room on my lunch break. I can go have my lunch somewhere else where people aren't going to come and ask things of me. Or what I can do, the first thing I can do today is when I'm on my lunch break, when somebody asks me for a favor, I can tell them to wait. That's what I can do today. That's one thing I can do. The first step's always the hardest step. Okay. The Two of Cups, though, is the benefit of all of this energy, and it really is this robust. The waters are flowing, and there is an infinite amount of it. No longer feeling desiccated and like that dried up water balloon. Now we're filling the cups up. We've tapped into source here. We have created such a balance and harmony in our life that it feels like it's not going to ever run out. Okay? And this is what we're trying to maintain, but this is also a card of self-love. What can we do to care about ourselves, to show ourselves that we love ourselves? Well, we can take care of our temple. We can nourish the flame within us through diet, exercise, sleep, stress reduction, substance management, and our relationships, and find balance in every one of those areas. Right? It's kind of the 6 pillars that we talk about sometimes on the channel. And I think that we're showing ourselves that kind of love. And I think that this is also the spiritual practice that is kind of you tapping into source to find nourishment and guidance there. It is you finding balance in your personal life and professional life, your friends and your romantic kind of love, right? Romantic, platonic axis. And I think that you're going to find extraordinary benefits in these little things that you can implement. One thing at a time, maybe we're just adding in these little things, they're going to make a huge difference. Striving for that balance, reprioritizing ourself and our own needs. Let's look at the mystery card, maybe a 10 of Cups, huh? Or a 9. I think it may be a 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, or 10 of Cups. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments, maybe the Empress card. Let's see. The Queen of Wands again. This one, yeah, this one. Repeat card. Emphasizing the Queen of Wands, emphasizing those things in your environment that are burning away your vital energy, burning away your waters of life, right? Draining your resources. You're out here in the desert and you've got nothing. And someone's coming and asking you for a glass of water and you say, okay, here's a glass of water. The more you're giving to this other person or these other things, the less you have for yourself, but you're starting to need it. Okay. So that's a strong confirmation that there are things in your environment, relationships that you have, that are drawing too much of this vital water out of you. And we need to plug those leaks a little bit, make some adjustments, make some rules or some boundaries, withdraw a little bit just so we can restore the balance inside. Okay? Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch these readings at the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com or find me on Patreon. Subscribe to the channel here if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.